Just as long as they don't have the
Just that noise.
the lotion on it.
All right, 6:50.
I see.
27.
It's 7. Okay, good evening, everyone. This is the City of Hannibal official council agenda, Tuesday, March 7th, 2023, council chamber, 7 p.m. I'd ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember McCoy,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Here.
Councilmember Franke, Mayor Hart,
Here.
Councilmember Phillips,
Here.
Councilmember Welch,
Here.
Councilmember Beach.
Here.
There being a quorum, I'd call this meeting to order. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson, would you do the invocation?
God of wisdom, we seek your help today. Come and let your wisdom fall upon us. O Lord, as we gather for this meeting, give us clarity so that we can effectively tackle each part of tonight's agenda. Reveal problem areas and show us the best solution that will apply. Point our eyes to every positive outcome since our last meeting, and let these favorable results and developments encourage every heart in our room. Dear God, help us apply your wisdom as we decide on certain matters and make plans. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Chief Naki, I would ask you to lead us in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, at this time, I'd ask for a motion to approve the agenda as it is posted this Tuesday, March 7, 2023. So move.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Now seeking a motion to approve the minutes of the regularly scheduled council meeting of February 21st, 2023, and also the closed session minutes of December 6th, December 20th, and January 17th, December 6th being 2022, the last two being 2023.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
Hey, yeah, sorry, Mr. Mayor. My brain's not working.
I'm sorry?
My brain's not working. I'm COVID negative, guys, but my brain's not working. The December 20th one says 2023, but it means 2022, right? Okay, thank you.
Well, your brain's working better than mine right now because I didn't catch it. So there you go.
It was probably a fluke, man.
Okay. So let's go back on that and seek a motion to approve the minutes of February 1st, 21st, 2023, then the closed session minutes of December 6th, 2022, December 20th, 2022, and the closed session minutes of January 17th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Good catch.
Now seeking motion to approve payroll and claims for the second half of February 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion over payroll and claims? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion's carried. First item on the agenda, Mr. Gordon Ibsen, Arts and Crafts and More Festival, requesting some street closures. Good evening, Gordon.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Once again, the Evening Kiwanis Club is requesting closure of 4th Street between Broadway and Center and use of Central Park for the Arts and Crafts Festival. I understand that this has been going on for over 40 years now, so we're doing it again. Unfortunately, we don't have Bill Weber here anymore to do it as he has for so many years, but we're muddling through. So respectfully request approval of the closure of the street and the use of the Central Park. Festival will be 2nd through the 4th of July, with Saturday, July 1st as setup day.
Okay.
Oh, so this is part of all the 4th of July festivities.
Yes, it's part of the larger Tom Sawyer days, but this is the part the Evening Kiwanis runs.
Good festival.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're filling some pretty big shoes there.
Next on the agenda is Tricia O. Sheltry, Twain on Main.
Good evening. So as you guys know, I'm here to request street closures, the use of the dumpster, some picnic tables, some city parking lots, and the use of the bollards to be set up for street closures from Main to North Street, for Main Street, all the way through to Broadway.
And it appears, council, just for your information, Parks is aware they're going to have extra picnic tables. They're going to attempt to share there. Trailhead restrooms will be open all weekend. Streets will provide the dumpster if approved here this evening, and we'll take care of installing the barricades and bollards as approved by you all this evening. All other documents are in effect and submitted.
Motion to approve.
Motion is second for approval. Any discussion?
Tricia, you might introduce yourself in your new position as, I don't
Yeah,
know if all
sorry,
the
a lot of you know
council
me with different hats. Tonight I'm wearing the hat of the Historic Hannibal Marketing Council's event manager. That was just created this year, and I started February 1st. So I will be helping with all the events planning for Chocolate Extravaganza, which is this weekend. Twain on Main, Great Girlfriend Getaway, Halloween, Living Windows for Christmas, all that kind of stuff. So you may see me again in the future wearing this hat.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
Next is Margie Tucker with Hannibal Nutrition Center.
Hello. I would like to thank you all for your support, and it is especially important this year due to the inflationary cost of food, actually in everything, because it is causing some food insecurities among senior citizens, and they are looking at us to help fill that gap so that they have food, period. And in doing so, it has increased our numbers, and it is also, our food budget is raised about $10,000 per month over what we are already paying. And $10,000 is a lot to try to cover per month. It's gone from about 30,000 to 40.
Just a question, have
Absolutely.
you increased your costs to those that receive your services?
Yes and no, because we do not deny anyone on their ability to pay. So we do ask for a donation, and then they give what part of that donation they can afford, if it's anything.
Sure. My mom and dad for years had Meals on Wheels and
Yes.
greatly appreciated, and I was happy to write that check every month.
Oh, thank you. And some just don't have it. I have a little lady who every day sets out her 15 pennies on the counter.
Oh.
And so when her meal gets delivered, she gives us those 15 pennies. And that's, to her, that's all she has. So it means a lot.
Sure. And that program, for many of those seniors, is the only person that they will see in that day. So
It is.
it means a lot to them.
I have a lot of drivers with a lot of smiles.
Yes, you do.
Okay, council, there will be a resolution 2447-23 follow.
Any
Any
questions?
questions for?
I know what you guys do. We've been through this before.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
How many meals do you serve a day?
We serve about 380 into residents' homes, about another 100 in the facility itself, another 100 to programs that for people with developmental disabilities and things of that sort, And then we have 2 contracts, one with the Supervision Center and one with the Mark Twain Behavioral Health. And those are 3 days, those are 7 days a week, 3 times a day. And those are 100 at a time, so another 300 every day for that.
Upwards to 1,000 a day?
Usually about 700, and then days like roast beef and chicken, it gets up to 1,000. Those are very popular days.
Especially chicken.
And we do bingo and things like that, exercise classes and other things at the center for residents that are able to come in.
Anything else?
Certainly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Man. Next on the agenda is Mr. Jim Van Hoos, 1009 Sierra. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for giving me a chance to come in and talk this evening. I do have 2 subjects I wanted to hit on, so I will try to keep them brief and stay within my appointed time. If I do go over, I hope that you'll give me the extra time. The first subject I want to hit on, I specifically wanted to talk about the February 21st council meeting. Why I felt compelled to come tonight and speak is to voice my reaction to the spectacle that I witnessed reviewing the YouTube video of the February 24th council meeting. It hurts me to say this, but spectacle is the best way that I can think of to describe it. Watching the video of that meeting, I sat in disbelief to the way several of the members of the council were talking to one another during this public meeting, talking loudly, even shouting, talking over one another, making accusations and taunting. It was bad enough that you were talking to one another in that manner, but in my opinion, sometimes you were unnecessarily rude to some of the citizens that asked for the opportunity to stand up here that night to speak their thoughts and wanting answers to their concerns. As a citizen and also as a former council meeting myself, I was embarrassed as what I saw. It is my opinion you brought shame upon yourselves and the city government as a whole. The citizens of Hannibal expect and deserve better from you. From the camera angle, I could not see everyone who was present that night in the audience, but I could clearly see back in the corner 2 young girls about 10 or 11 years old who were sitting right in front of the camera. I could only imagine what was going through their minds as they sat there witnessing that spectacle that you put on and what stories they had to tell the next day to their friends, their classmates, and their teachers when they were asked, "Oh, you were at the council meeting last night. What did you think of it?" I know that you are not always going to agree on issues that the council has to deal with. It would be odd if you did. Also, you are not going to always get along with each other. That is not a requirement. It's just human nature. However, I, for one, as a citizen, do ask that you act like responsible adults during these public meetings. Also, talking about the YouTube videos from the February 21st meeting, I reviewed that and some other ones, and I noticed on all of them that the comments had been disabled. And I thought that a little bit surprising, so I asked, why are the comments disabled on the video meetings?
Sure they were. Aware of that?
Well, before me, I've never tried to comment on one. I didn't know the comments were off, but I've never seen a comment, but I don't check the videos a whole lot. I can check with Eric, who takes care of the YouTube for us, and check with him and see if there's a reason why and get back with you, though.
Okay, thank you. That was one subject.
Fair question.
The next subject, I wanted to talk about emails. When you go to the city's website and it says, contact your 4th Ward councilman, your city clerk, whoever, okay, it opens up a contact form and you've put in your name and your email address and what you want to talk about. You got to check off that you're not a robot, then you click submit, and then you get, yes, thank you for your submission. So I was under the impression they went through. So I sent a couple emails to Mr. Phillips, and I didn't get no response. So I sent one to the city clerk and I didn't get no response. I sent one to Melissa and I didn't get a response, and I thought, something's wrong. If Melissa got that email, she was going to respond to me. So something's wrong. So as a further test, I sent another email to all the other council members, but this time to Mr. Phillips. Instead of using the contact form, I sent a regular email. He got it and he responded to me, and I thank you for that. So I came in and talked to Melissa, and sat down in her office. She did a practice one, pull up the contact form and sent out a fake one, and it didn't go through. And I'm under the impression that this contact form has not been working for a long time. That's the impression I got. And it's bad because people that are trying to get a hold of one of the city officials, they think they're being ignored. And there for about a month or so, I thought I was being ignored. Till it finally occurred to me, there's got to be a problem with the system. So I would definitely like to see that fixed, because a lot of people, they don't know your phone numbers, and I wouldn't expect you to give them their phone numbers, but when they come to the city website, it directs them, this is how you get a hold of your councilman, but it's not working. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, but I understood that it was already kind of well known that that's not working.
And Jim, to answer that, Melissa and I were talking just before the meeting, and she explained this scenario that you just provided us with the test and so forth. And she took it upon herself to check with different providers to see if our website can be updated, what can be done. Melissa, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but can you kind of explain what you told me and what the plan is going forward there, please? Because I'm not going to take the credit for it, because she recognized the problem and she grabbed it.
Great.
So the person who designed and developed our website is no longer around, and we can't get anybody to support it. And for the record, I got a lot of help from Matt Jones today, too. We did a bunch of testing on it, trying to see what we could do. Could we remove the submission off of the website so citizens didn't think they were contacting their councilman and not being able to get it? Because that's the last thing I want, is that anybody thinking their councilman's not responding. But there's just simply, unfortunately, a lot like our sound and things, there's not a lot we can do with this website. However, the person that did the Board of Public Works' website, as well as the police departments, the park department, and that is going to get me a proposal, and we are going to look at using the same template, which will save us a ton of money, and being able to upgrade the city website. So I am working on that, and we'll have that done as soon as we possibly can. Until then, we're going to place a disclaimer on the main page of the website, kind of letting everybody know, please do not submit, inquiries.
That'd be great.
Through the website, please contact City Hall. So that's kind of our temporary fix until we can get a permanent fix, which will be an upgrade to the website, which is badly needed. So hopefully we can move forward
That sounds great. Thank
very
you.
quickly.
And I hate, for the first time I coming up to speak to the council, that I had such negative things to say, and hopefully someday real soon I'll come up here and with some kind of positive message. Thank you for the opportunity
Jim,
to speak.
Thank you. And actually, the negative doesn't really come off as negative to me, but there's room for improvement. That's fine. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you, sir.
Question?
Yes.
Like if you type in Second Ward at Hannibal-Missouri.gov and send that, that'll go through, correct?
Right, if you're not
But
going
it-
through the website.
But it wouldn't through the website, because I've tested my own, and I've had some people say, well, I email you, and I've found things in the junk folder before that way.
And
But,
we can't stop the junk folder
Sure.
either. We looked into that today. So if you are on the left-hand side and there is a space that basically says board executives, I'm not sure, without looking at it, everything it says. And then if you look at the top right, there's a contact us. And so it depends on which way you're going through. whether they're either not showing up or whether they're sent to junk mail. Now, if I go type in third ward at Hannibal, mo.gov or whatever, it's going to go directly
Okay.
to there. If you type in that address, exact email address, it's when you're clicking the submit that basically under your pictures and that type of thing, where it's either going nowhere or
Okay.
going to a junk folder somewhere.
Okay. Thank you for funding it, Jim.
And what Melissa didn't go ahead and relay as well is
Sure.
she has an idea of where we will be on this project and has actually a plan to have it budgeted for. So it's not going to be an insurmountable amount. Like I said, I'm passing on her words. She was the one that met with Mr. Van Hook. She was the one that just validated and then went further to find a solution. So I appreciate your extra work, Melissa. Any other discussion? Okay. That being said, next item, or next person to speak, April Azate.
Sorry, I want to make sure that I speak into the microphone so everybody can hear. The last several meetings I have spoke at, I have been dumbfounded time and time again by response to questions I've asked or things said, tabled, etc. The lack of respect for people speaking, let alone each other, is extremely unprofessional, sad, and concerning to the community. All of you are supposed to be good leaders and lead by example. If anything, myself and many others feel misled and misinformed on a lot of things. One thing I can't quite wrap my head around is the fact that a mere suggestion, and good one at that, has been tabled time and time again, and then last meeting removed from the agenda completely, that has absolutely nothing to do with the investigation. All of you up there, including myself and several others, were sent an email this morning, and yet again, I am dumbfounded by the city attorney's response in saying, when April is allowed to monopolize the business portion of the meeting for a non-business purpose, it's not really considerate or fair to the people of Hannibal who just want to know what is going on with the business of the city, which is pretty ironic because a monthly update from the city manager would do just that, would it not? Something else that was very bothersome to me was the fact that James, you said this last meeting, for instance, April wanted to reprimand the city council for not terminating the city clerk.
Yeah.
But I think there's some confusion there because it's not about terminating, it's about the fact that her term was up and that we're still paying her. It's not, I wasn't reprimanding them on why she wasn't being terminated. It's the fact that tax dollars are going to pay for an employee of the city that is no longer technically employed. Her term was up.
As I said in my reply, the problem is, this is a matter that is under investigation. It is a matter in which there has been no determination of wrongdoing by the independent investigator, and it would be inappropriate to have a discussion regarding terminating someone that there has not been a full investigation of what's going on. So we can't have a discussion regarding paying a person, et cetera, without also addressing the issue of was there wrongdoing, et cetera, et cetera. And as I said in my email, as I said the other day, it's not something that can be talked about until such time as there's been a full investigation and she's been given her full due process.
Okay, well, I just want to make it clear that it wasn't about reprimanding the city council on terminating her. It's the fact that her term was up December 31st and is still being paid. That's.
I think you're, with respect, I think you're playing word games and playing games with semantics. I think my email was directly on point and my email was absolutely accurate. But I understand.
In your opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm saying from the horse's mouth, it's not about reprimanding the city council. It's about the fact that her term was up and we're still paying her. And I felt like this last meeting that tax dollars should be going to something else of more
By
importance.
firing someone, yes, I understand your point. Thank you.
So my question tonight is, why is something continuously tabled or removed from the agenda that has nothing to do with the investigation whatsoever? I'm not sure who would like to answer that. I guess I would just more so like a response or a reason as
Are
to
you
why.
referring to the monthly manager report?
Yes. I guess I'm just confused why something is tabled or removed from the agenda that actually a lot of cities do practice. And I feel like it is a good suggestion, but in my opinion, it has
Well, I
nothing to
can't-
do with the investigation.
I can't speak to the reasons for the tabling or the removal by by a council person, but I can tell you this, there is no conflict. That question was asked specifically to the Assistant City Attorney, Mr. Ethan. What's his title when he served in your stead, James?
Well, he's the assistant city attorney.
Right. I asked that question specifically, if there would be any legal conflict between impeachment proceedings and other city business, not specifically the monthly manager report request, but other city business. And the answer was resounding no. Therefore, it's my opinion that there is no conflict.
So can I ask the council members that have chosen to table or remove from agenda, what would be your guys' reasoning for tabling something that I feel like would kind of help so this isn't a potential problem in the future?
I'll speak up. It doesn't bother me a bit. I didn't agree with it.
You didn't agree
I don't
with?
agree with it. As it was written that night, I didn't agree with it.
You
And I
don't-
stand by my vote.
Okay, so
You
you
and I
don't
can-
agree
and-
that having like a monthly report
Not
from
in the
the,
format that it was presented, no.
but you think that a monthly report would be productive, just not in the format that they presented?
Right.
I'm not really sure what
There's-
format.
Sure, there are times when monthly reports are beneficial. There's portions of monthly reports that I agree with, and even in this proposal. But the proposal that's given to us now in its entirety, on that particular time, I didn't agree with. And I'd like to think that people that fought for this country give me the right to have a difference of opinion. Some people will be for it, some will be against it. Eventually, matter will come before council, and majority will rule on how that turns out. It may be a negotiated agreement on how the monthly report will come out. I don't know. But as it was presented that night, I don't agree with it.
Okay.
So there's my fair answer.
I feel like we're given updates as needed on certain things. We will get emails from the department heads telling us what their plans are to doing. We approved the payroll and claims at the very beginning of the meeting. We are doing exactly what the agenda says to do.
I can't hear, sorry, can you speak on the phone? I can't hear you.
When the department heads send us emails, they tell us exactly what's going on. It's passed down through the city manager. We approve payroll, accounts payable, and all the stuff at the very beginning of the meeting. That is one of those tasks. It is literally disseminated from the department heads to the city manager. And if there's something going on that's an issue, we just get the emails and we all talk about it. And that's what this council does.
I think you and I can't remember who else had said that you guys, or certain members, think that a monthly report is a good idea, but not at this time.
It's kind of not one of those necessary things. Like I just said, department heads talk to the city manager. The city manager briefs us on broad strokes of what's happening, and that is how city business works.
Gotcha. I'm just wondering when is a good time, regardless of the investigation and what's going on with that, when would be a good time? If anything, I feel like this report will make things more transparent to the public and prevent people like me coming and questioning things, taking up time like James says that he feels is inappropriate.
No, actually, my concern was making political grandstanding during the business portion of the meeting.
I can't hear you.
I said my concern was doing political grandstanding during the business portion of the meeting. The council changed their rules in order to allow people to make political statements and set out a specific time. My concern is that you, by monopolizing this portion of the meeting, there are people who just come who want to have their business taken care of, and it's unfair to them. I think you absolutely have the right to make every political statement you want to make, and you can do all those things. My concern has to do with spending extended periods of time doing this type of thing when people that just want to have their ordinances approved, their resolutions approved, their parades, et cetera, approved, they want to have those done, and they don't want to have to get involved in the political portion. I think you absolutely have the right to raise these concerns and tell the council what you think. I just would prefer you did it at the 6:30 portion of the meeting. I in my email, in no way did I intend to say that you didn't have the right to address this council or that you shouldn't do so.
Okay.
April, I'm glad you're here. You're using the agenda as a. Thank you.
Thank you. I will be sure to also, I know I've done it before, Melissa, remind me if I forget, or I'll remind Britta, but I have put on when I sign up to speak to please put myself at the end of the agenda because I don't want to hold up anybody else coming before council asking for permission. So I will be sure to put that on any and every form I put on there to sign up. But period, point blank, we need people on the council who are responsive to the citizens in a polite and professional manner, if not at all, can make major decisions regardless of personal dislike, or if not voting a certain way as others, have to worry and fear of political consequences. And I feel like many meetings now, I've observed certain things said, body language, and it's very concerning to not only myself, but other people in the community. What were you going to say?
Mayor, was that 5 or 10?
Well, it was 5 that I,
Started a little late.
no. I only run the time, the 5 minutes while April was speaking, and any time that we used discussing, I took off. So we're probably at 10, but I'm trying to be fair and yet stay within the perimeters.
April, do you want to keep going?
I think Councilman Welch was getting ready to say, I was just wondering what he was going to say.
No, I'm good.
You want to keep going?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to give April an additional 5 minutes pursuant to our rules.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Time and time again, I ask certain questions.
That's 5 minutes.
Wait, she's got to call the roll to get approval for the other 5. Sorry.
Councilmember McCoy?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
No.
Councilmember Franke?
Yes.
Mayor Hark?
No.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
No.
Councilmember Beach?
No.
Great.
Thank you, April. You're appreciated.
Yep, no problem. Really hope the public is paying attention to this.
Okay, council, under next item under my name, approval of appointments for second reading to the Affirmative Action Committee. Candy Weems, appointment for a term to expire March 2026, and Faye Dant, appointment for a term to expire March of 2026. Is there a motion to approve both those appointments?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Now, recommendation of appointment for a first reading to the Affirmative Action Committee. Corey King, appointment for a term to expire March of 2026. It's a first reading. I'll bring it to the next meeting for a second. And council, just for your information, this committee actually has not met or been active since 1996. It's long overdue for that committee to be filled with those who wish to serve. So I want to applaud those people for stepping forward. The next item I have here is a proclamation for AmeriCorps Week 2023. I've got a proclamation I'd like to present at this time.
I am Harold Smith. I'm with Federal Services, and we have presented the council consideration on next week nationally is AmeriCorps Senior Volunteer, and every community, number of organizations. Hannibal is particularly blessed with the number of volunteers. We have our thrift store, our food pantry parties here, the nutrition center, every hospital auxiliary, home organization, our organization, not be done as a senior volunteer. Ask the city of Hannibal to designate March the 12th to the 18th as senior volunteer.
Got a voice for radio. All right. Therefore, we have before us today the Hannibal proclamation for AmeriCorps proclamation. Whereas service is a hallmark of the American character, has a unique ability to bring people of all backgrounds together in a common cause. Throughout our history, since stepped up to meet our most pressing challenges today by volunteering in their community. Whereas AmeriCorps senior programs opportunity 100,000 serve their country, service, nonprofits, schools, public agencies, faith-based across the country. Whereas in Hannibal, Missouri, dozens of AmeriCorps diverse ages and backgrounds have helped needs at multiple locations. Hannibal funding, tutoring, mentoring, and supporting veterans, military families, fighting food insecurity, supporting Christmas programs. Whereas AmeriCorps senior programs bring people together across race, age, zip code, address critical issues facing forging relationships, cultivate respect, build resilience, private. Whereas the national service represents public-private partnerships, investigations, leverages non-federal resources to strengthen impact and increase the return on taxpayer dollars. Whereas AmeriCorps opportunity to recognize the dedication and commitment of the millions of Americans who serve AmeriCorps seniors and their partners, encourage more Americans to follow in their footsteps in service. Therefore, be it resolved that James Hart, Mayor of the City of Hannibal, authorize, designate March 12th to 18th, 2023, AmeriCorps Hannibal. Urge citizens to thank AmeriCorps senior volunteers for their service, find their own ways to give back to the Hart, Mayor. Okay. Believe it or not, council, that's everything under my name. So we'll go to the next item on the agenda is Mike Murphy, Building Inspector.
Again, Mayor, Council, got three things this evening. First two are requests to cancel the public hearings that were set for the next meeting, the changes to Section 32 and Section 4 of the code. kind of got the cart before the horse a little bit, and we just need to do a little bit more review on those two things. So just request to cancel those two hearings.
Do we need to make a motion to cancel those?
Probably.
We made a
Okay,
motion
make
to
that
Yeah,
motion.
establish them.
Okay.
you made a motion to do it, so I'd say it'd be best to do it with a vote, voice vote.
Make a motion to cancel hearing 6 o'clock and at 6:15.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. The next item, Mike.
Third thing is the first reading of the Persian Street vacate. We had the public hearing for earlier with a bill to follow that.
That's bill number 23-005. Are there any questions of Mike at this time? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Next on the agenda is Andy Dorian, Director of Central Services.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I got a handful of items tonight. First up, we have the Huckleberry Tennis and Pickleball Court renovation project. The Hannibal Park Board selected this project as their major project for the year. I have one park board member here tonight. So we recently went out for bid for that project. We would like to propose accepting the bid from Byrne & Jones of St. Louis for a total project cost of $334,900. This project includes demo of the current court, milling out the old asphalt, re-asphalt, sealing, painting, all new hardware, nets, poles, new area for viewing, and an additional parking spaces. We did reject ad alternate 2 at a price of $207,000. That would have demoed the old racquetball court and built an additional multi-use court. We don't have that in the budget for right now, but it gives us a number if we want to do that for future projects, grant writing, et cetera. Byrne & Jones is a very, very large company that does these projects all over the Midwest, so good company to work with.
It's resolution 2446-23 to follow, unless someone has any questions on that.
That's pulling off the old top,
Yep.
milling it out, new pavement, I guess to the standard grade of what tennis courts are done.
Yep.
Which is probably something a lot different than we're used to, but
Yeah.
yeah, I actually stopped by there today and was seeing them put up the pickleball nets because it's been pretty nice outside. So
Yeah, it's probably our most popular thing that we have going right now. So
I figured that out when I was down at the Armory the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, pickleball. Sounds great.
Okay. Your next item, Andy.
Next item is kind of housekeeping item. We are ready to bid the Sedalis Shelter Nature Pavilion project. We were awarded a $100,000 Land Conservation Partnership grant for this project. That project is ready to go. So this would be the bidding portion and the construction administration portion of the engineering contract. So that's a total engineering contract of $9,000. We should be ready to bid this probably within the next week or two.
Okay, and that'll be resolution 2443-33 to follow. Questions?
Andy, just
Yes.
real quick, but I know I got confused about this before. Remind me exactly where the going to be.
It'll be just on the other side of the bathroom in the main parking lot.
Okay.
So it's going to have a fireplace, large building, lots of picnic tables, and in that area, it's hopefully the whole area around is hopefully to be developed with some nature themes. Scott Woodbury, who used to be with the Shaw Nature Preserve, is going to be here on the 28th. That's a project he's going to. Here's the rest of the group on that. So we hope with all the different nature programs that we have, all the conservation, U.S. Fish and Wildlife people that are here, it's kind of be a hub for those types of activities.
And one last question then. I think it's funny, but probably isn't. What's the difference between a pavilion and a gazebo?
Gazebos typically are round. This is more rectangular.
Or, you know, thank you.
Yeah.
The fireplace, wood burning or gas?
Wood burning.
Okay, and Parks Department to supply the wood? Or how would that work?
That's something we haven't discussed.
I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we'll be discussing.
Okay.
We're looking at the last I heard on shelters is 26 weeks. Got a little bit of time to kind of figure that out. So, yeah, that's something we'll be working on.
So you anticipate late fall?
Probably be some benefit to regulating the types of things that were burnt there.
Yeah.
But anyway, discussion for another
good
day.
idea.
Hey, next item, sir.
The next item is the mechanic hangar lease. On the current 3-year lease, it had an option to extend it for an additional 3 years for the mechanic hangar out at the airport if both parties agree. So James drafted an extension on there. The mechanic, Michael Geisendorfer, is truly a godsend to us. I know for the pilots, he's been extremely helpful, pilots here locally and all over the region, but just to us personally, he's eyes and ears that are there 7 days a week. We're not there all the time, and so he's been extremely helpful to us, assisting us with different projects and things free of charge, just to be nice. So he's been a big asset to the airport. I know we're in discussion with the Port Authority. They also view him as an extreme asset. Airport mechanics are not something you find every day. So if you have one in your region, you usually try to keep a hold of one. So they're an additional 3-year lease being proposed.
That's resolution 2444-23 to follow. Any questions for Andy on that? Okay, and then looks like your last item.
Yes, so we recently went out for bid to sell one of our old trucks that we surplus, a 2003 F-250. We had the high bid from Steve Williams for $3,805. This year for acceptance of that bid award.
Make a motion to accept the bid?
Second.
Motion to second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Andy, thank you.
Yep.
Next on the agenda is Charles Phillips, 4th Ward Council, and Stephen Franke, 3rd Ward Council. The city manager's report.
Mr. Mayor?
Sir.
For the third time in as many meetings, we propose amending the ordinance to create a monthly city manager's report as part of the city council agenda. Despite a majority of council stating they believe a monthly report is worth implementing, they either table or refuse to or remove it from the agenda outright. Certain council members say this is because Councilman Franke's impeachment first needs to be resolved. The two topics are not related, as one is based on alleged events of over a year ago, and articles of impeachment and the amended articles of impeachment, and the other is based upon our charter. No council member has been able to explain why having a city manager's monthly report to the city council about issues that the city manager, clerk, and department directors and other city employees face, and how those individuals fulfill their duties to the citizens of Hannibal, is in any way related to the actions of the mayor seeking the impeachment of a city councilman. Councilman Franke and I are focused on the duties imposed upon the city council and the city manager by the charter to make sure that the city government is responsive to the citizens of Hannibal, as we are a manager-council form of government. The charter assigns the following duties to the city manager. Section 3, paragraph 09, powers and duties of the city manager. Make a brief description. The city manager shall be the chief administrative officer of the city and shall devote his entire time to the duties of the office. The city manager shall hold the office at the pleasure of the city council. The city manager will have the following powers and duties.
So, the city manager serves at our pleasure. Do we not have a duty to be informed as to the issues the city manager is facing on a daily basis?
Is this a question and answer?
I was asking rhetorically.
Okay, let's do that.
Do we not have a duty to be informed as to the personnel issues faced or actions taken by the city manager?
Section A and B, he shall appoint and when he deems necessary for the good of the service, suspend or remove any city official or appointed administrative officer provided by or for under this charter, except as otherwise provided by law. This charter or personnel rules adopted pursuant to this charter. He may authorize any administrative officer subject to his direction and supervision to exercise these powers with respect to subordinates in that officer's department, office, or agency. Charlie said, do we not have a duty to be informed as to personnel issues faced or actions taken? Charlie, you want to read B?
He shall direct and supervise the administration of all departments, offices, and agencies of the city, except as otherwise provided by this charter of law.
The charter states, except as otherwise provided by this charter or law. Don't we as city council persons have a duty to make sure laws are in place to best serve our citizens by providing the city manager the tools to effectively perform his duties?
He shall attend all council meetings.
This seems like a back and forth that I think we're all kind of just done with this. What's the objective tonight? Do you want to put this for vote tonight?
I think I want to get through our memo first.
All right, you do that.
Given the right to participate in discussion, should not the council persons be informed as to the knowledge of the city manager, the knowledge that the city manager possesses about a particular issue?
Letter D, he shall see that all laws, provisions of this charter, and acts of the council subject to enforcement by him or by officers subject to his direction and supervision are faithfully carried out. Given the city manager is required to make sure the acts of the council are faithfully carried out, shouldn't he provide us monthly updates to any issues that arose related to such an obligation?
City manager shall prepare the annual budget and a capital program and submit them to the council pursuant to the requirements of Chapter 9 of this charter.
Given the city manager is required to prepare the annual budget and capital program and submit them to council, shouldn't he provide us monthly updates as to any budget or capital project issues that arose related to such obligations?
He shall submit to the council and make available to the public a complete report on the finances and administrative activities of the city at the end of each fiscal year.
Given the city manager is required to make available to the public a complete report on the finances and administrative activities of the city as of the end of each fiscal year, shouldn't he provide us a monthly report on such activities so that there are no surprises at the end of the year?
This is important. He shall make such other reports as the council may require concerning the operations of city departments, office, and agencies subject to his direction and supervision.
Clearly, the charter gives the council the authority to require the reports and certainly does not include a prohibition of requiring reports because of any litigation issues the city may or may not be facing.
He shall keep the council fully advised as to the financial condition and future needs of the city and make such recommendations to the council concerning the affairs of the city as he deems desirable.
Clearly, the charter gives the city manager the duty to keep the council fully advised as to the financial condition and future needs of the city. We would be fulfilling our duty to make sure we are fully advised by the city manager.
He shall perform such other duties as are specified in this charter or may be required by the council.
Clearly, the charter gives the council the authority to require such reports.
We as members of the City Council work for the public who elect us. The public would be better able to offer feedback on our performance if they received a monthly update on the happenings in Hannibal's government. Such reports are commonplace in other governments and even in Hannibal, at the Hannibal Board of Public Works, Hannibal Regional Economic Development Council. As both current and former board members of those organizations, we benefit greatly from these monthly reports. The current meeting agenda ordinance appropriately shines light on the contracts, ordinances, and appointments, whereas updates on long-term projects and normal day-to-day operations are unfortunately left in the dark. We feel this ordinance will increase the transparency by exposing both council and the public to all of the good work that goes on behind the scenes to keep Hannibal running smoothly. Additionally, it will increase the council's opportunity to offer oversight of the manager and the public's ability to hold the council accountable. We have a responsibility to be responsive to constituent needs, and in this instance, through basic transparency. Thank you very much. These are suggestions and examples through the charter. These are not opinions, and these are not ideas that were pulled out of air. These were words and ideas that were put forth by our charter. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. So,
I do have one further item to bring to everyone's attention, and that is we had a monthly manager's report for years, as recently as February 2022. Prior to that, we had a monthly manager's report, and it was published to the council. Why did that stop? It was a very detailed and very informative document that, in my review of the previous reports, was extremely helpful in understanding exactly what's going on in the day-to-day work of the city government. And for some reason, unknown reason, I haven't asked, I would like to ask and find out why that report stopped in the month of February 2022. Prior to that, we enjoyed a monthly manager's report. This is nothing new. This is no new suggestion. This is just simply asking for a continuation of something that had gone on for a long time and suddenly stopped. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Would you like to read the letter from the attorney, or shall I? Based on personnel public disclosure that they're asking for as part of the report. The city manager's duties and work is intricately intertwined and individually identifiable personnel information at all levels. Such records and information are permitted to be closed. Decisions relating to individual employees would make up a large portion of the city manager's report and should not be disclosed in an open session absent specific statutorily allowed instances. Personnel issues forced or actions taken by the city manager should be confined to closed session only. Further, the city council weighing in on individual personnel matters carries a significant risk of liability. Individual council members may be subject to individual lawsuits based on personnel decisions if involved at intermediate levels that includes public disclosure of their information. The council should, in general, not weigh in on personnel information in matters that do not require a vote. This opens up the city to additional liability risk in various areas, along with individual liability for council members who are unlikely to be covered by the city's employment liability practices insurance. Some potential ways that this is liability risk, wrongful termination claims that subject the entire council to subpoenas, potential legals or claims of legal actions, as negligent infliction of emotional distress against individual council members, inadvertent or intentional disclosures of private information of employees, contractors, and citizens. If information is to be shared related to personnel matters, it should only be done in closed session at most. Bear in mind, however, that discussions in closed session could be relevant in later litigation through and subject to all involved in closed session depositions and subpoenas as well. This issue with the request is the broadness of the request for a monthly update. Monthly open sessions updates should ideally provide in generalities. Any report by the city manager should be limited to general information that does not meet sunshine law closure exception. Employees of the city have a right to believe that their personnel information will be kept confidential. Reports that otherwise meet sunshine law closure exception should at most be done in closed session and is worth considering legal advice when providing such ongoing updates that are not normally provided on matters exempt from public disclosure to ensure that the council is not subjecting themselves to potential future liabilities in the event of a lawsuit develops. And this is by an attorney that works for Jackson and Lewis, attorneys of law.
I'm really glad you read that. I was on the board of the utility almost 2 years till you folks kicked me off. And got a monthly report. Anytime there needed to be personnel issues, they just put it in closed session. Just do that. Furthermore, about any generalities, city manager used to produce a monthly report. I figure she can figure out how to do it. And finally, actually, the existence of this email is actually further proof, in my opinion, that we need such a thing. It was received at 3 p.m. today, and we didn't get it until we showed up. Although I expect some people sitting up here had it before that. So
I saw it when I walked in at 6.
Yep. So that was presented to me.
What's that? I didn't hear that.
He said he saw it when he walked in here at 6. I'm saying that's exactly how it was for me too.
Well, and personally, I didn't like the proposal that goes back several weeks now that would penalize the city manager a half a day's vacation for not providing such.
yeah, I thought that was entirely appropriate. That's why we wrote it.
I think that's illegal.
Okay, great. Can I go, Daryl?
No, good.
Thank you.
I was just going to ask the counselor for his opinion on that, but no, we finish.
I'd be happy to provide a copy of the previous.
I would recommend against doing any kind of penalty provision that would do something with vacation. I mean, you don't want to get foul of wage and hour laws. I understand wanting to enforce. I would recommend if you felt something needed to be enforced, you'd use a different provision than that, because wage and hour things will get you into trouble every time.
Thank you, James.
Sure.
Yeah, 2 points there. First one is this is the third time we've talked about it. I could have been brought up the first 2 times, but it's a fair point. I appreciate it being made. I appreciate any recommendations James might make if council finds something else amenable. But as I was saying, it's not about the city manager. It's actually about city council. City councils prove themselves completely and entirely unable to offer any oversight at all. So a provision such as that, not about the city manager and his or her ability to do it, it's about the city council's inability to offer oversight into our jobs. We failed at that routinely over the past year. And as such, I think we should write it in so it takes it away from us. That's simple. I think complex problems usually have simple solutions. In my opinion, this is one of them. I'm sorry for my voice, guys. I wish it wasn't this way. Do the best I can. All right. Well, I make a motion. Thank you. I make a motion to accept our proposal with the caveat that James comes back to us with some sort of other stick, for lack of a better phrase, for the next meeting.
Second.
As it's written right now, without changing anything else.
Well, sorry. I said, Melissa, would you read it back to us?
I actually was just going to ask you to repeat it.
With the caveat that James changes the stick proportion to something more appropriate for the next meeting.
He's referring to the penalty provision.
Oh, okay. So as it sits right now, I don't think so. But if you come back with something for us, then I'll be on board with that.
So just to be clear, my motion is to ask James to do it. Since Charlie and I failed in our idea.
Right.
We're asking
So
James to.
So it's a completely separate matter at this point then. So we're not approving anything. We're just saying, hey, James, come up with something.
Well, yeah, but to be clear, I mean, when you pass an ordinance, it has a first and second reading. So James would bring it back to us next time for a first reading, have a whole discussion, choose not to have a second reading.
I guess we can do that. Why not?
James,
In the spirit of cooperation.
right? Or you're getting what I'm
No, I
saying?
understand what you're saying.
All right. I'll check today.
I feel as though we are actually talking about two different things, though. Like, you're talking about modifying this right here. That's fine. We'll have that done. But I don't think saying approve this as it sets for a first reading. I just kind of don't like the whole semantics of it. So,
If it
This
helps, well,
seems-
I'm
this
just
seems like
trying
a-
to help. But if it helps at all,
Bring it back and
I
amend
am
it.
certainly willing to make some modifications with Councilman Franke and Councilman Phillips to have something come back. I understand your all's concerns, and I agree with Daryl's position on the issue of the penalty provision. I'm not making promises regarding that'll make you all any happier, but I'm willing to sit down with the two councilmen and try to bring something back if y'all want to do that.
So, Colin, is that cool?
what are we doing? Are we repairing this, or are we just starting it over? Because I don't want to say, okay, let's do a first one, and then come back and do the exact same thing, and then have to do it again and again and again.
So if we give James a directive, he's not going to bring back the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know that you guys need a vote. I'm just trying to.
I'm not thinking
just trying to
it's
make
necessary.
I'm just trying to make a suggestion of this has dragged on now for at least 3 meetings, and I'm offering that I would be happy to try to work with the two councilmen to see if we could find something that the rest of the council would feel more comfortable with.
Already got a motion and a second as it's written, the amended penalty part. So we voting on
Right.
that, or are we just withdrawing that, or what are we doing?
I didn't have it as just the amended penalty. I had it as, you made a motion to have James to research and revise the city manager report and come up and rewrite modifications not limited to penalties. So I had it where he's looking at the entire thing and making modifications to bring back to you guys.
Colin, are you good with that, or do you want me to?
I kind of think you should just withdraw the motion and just let him do it. And that way we're not going
Make a
through
motion
this
to-
process. There's
Thanks
no-
what you're
there's
saying.
been a lot of heartburn on this one.
Okay. I don't agree to disagree on that. I want to give him a clear directive. Is my thing. So,
I feel this is an unclear directive. I feel like we're moving forward just to go back and do the
I'm
same
going to
thing.
say something, and then I'll make a recommendation on what you say.
Well, how about, well, I mean, I understand everyone's position. I'm not promising I can do something that's going to make everyone happy, but I understand everyone's position pretty well. I suppose, if what Councilman Franke and Phillips want is something coming out of this meeting showing that there was some progress, I would suggest that perhaps a motion to direct the city attorney to meet with the two councilmen and come up with an alternative proposal for a city manager report.
Okay. Nobody say anything real quick. Charlie, we have to withdraw our motion. Make a new one. So I withdraw the motion.
Yes, I withdraw.
Okay. I make a new motion with the words that James just used. Somebody has to second it.
And then, is there a second for the motion, Stephen
And there is a second.
and James? There's a second. Okay, so a motion, new motion and seconds on the floor. Any Any discussion?
Yeah, I think it really doesn't require an ordinance to have the city manager give us a monthly report. It would be as simple as, Lisa, could you provide us, something written each month on the highlights of, what's gone on in your office?
And send that out, email that out to you guys?
Sure.
That would be an appropriate thing to do.
Would that work?
Yeah, and it probably wouldn't contain anything illegal, like a stick or a punishment or anything like that.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm keeping our motion. I think it needs to be part of the public agenda.
As am I.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Oh,
Councilmember McCoy?
Nope.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
no.
Councilmember Franke?
Yes.
Mayor Hark?
No.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
No.
Councilmember Beach?
No.
Okay. Right. Okay, council, at this time, we have before us bill number 23-005. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Bill number 23-005, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal vacating a tract of land known as Pershing Street, which is part of the Shepherd Place Extended, City of Hannibal, Marion County, Missouri. First reading.
Next, we have before us resolution number 2443-23. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution, call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried.
Resolution number 2443-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a $9,000 engineering service agreement between the City of Hannibal and Klinger and Associates for the bidding and construction, administration services, and a portion of the project to construct a new shelter at the Sedalis Nature Preserve. Councilmember McCoy?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Yes.
Councilmember Franke?
Yes.
Mayor Hark?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
And Councilmember Beach?
Yes.
Declare resolution 2443-23 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have before us resolution 2444-23. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution, call the roll for adoption.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2444-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a 3-year lease agreement extension between the City of Hannibal and Lear Field Aviation LLC for the use of the mechanics hangar, Hangar A, at the Hannibal Regional Airport. Councilmember McCoy?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Yes.
Councilmember Franke?
Yes.
Mayor Hark?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
Councilmember Beach?
Yes.
I declare resolution 2444-23 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have resolution 2446-23. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution, call the roll for adoption.
Move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2446-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Hannibal and Vernon and Jones in the amount of $334,900 for the renovation of the Huckleberry Park tennis and pickleball courts. Councilmember McCoy?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Yes.
Councilmember Franke?
Yes.
Mayor Hart?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
And Councilmember Beach?
Yes.
I declare resolution 2446-23 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have before us resolution 2447-23. I need a motion to have the clerk read the resolution and call the roll for adoption.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution number 2447-23, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a one-year service agreement between the City of Hannibal and the Hannibal Nutrition Center in the amount of $18,357 for the senior meals and related services. Councilmember McCoy?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Yes.
Councilmember Franke?
Yes.
Mayor Hart?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
And Councilmember Beach?
Yes.
I declare Resolution 2447-23 duly approved and adopted on this day. Council, at this time, we have a request to go into closed session in accordance with RSMO 610-021, paragraph 1 and 2, admitting myself, council, city attorney, city manager, deputy city clerk, Andy Dorian, director of Center Services, and the Honorable Judge Bastian.
Make a motion to go into closed session?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Councilmember McCoy?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Yes.
Councilmember Franke?
Yes.
Mayor Hart?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch? Yes. And Councilmember Beach?
Yes.